What are your thoughts on same-sex marriage recognition in Texas? You may have heard, Senator, that today the New Jersey Supreme Court ruled that the state cannot prevent same-sex marriages from being recognized given the recent Supreme Court decision. What do you think ought to be the case in Texas?
I support traditional marriage between one man and one woman. And I think it is unfortunate when you see judges second-guessing the decisions of elected legislatures that are elected by the people. I think marriage laws should reflect the values and mores of the citizens of the state. Now, there are states in this union where the voters have chosen to adopt gay marriage. And under our system of federalism, we've got 50 states. We've got people where the values and the mores of citizens in Texas vary from those in Florida or New York or Vermont or California. And I think that's the way it should be. You know, Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis referred to that as laboratories of democracy. But I don't think we should have judges stepping in and saying, we're going to disregard the preferences of democratically elected legislatures. I think that should be up to the people.
Senator Santorum, you're looking incredulous. Response?
Well, it sounds to me like Representative Paul would actually say polygamous marriages are okay. If the state has the right to do it, they have the right to do it. And it is not beyond reality, Ron. It is exactly what's being offered in other states right now, and it's being litigated in our courts right now, which is exactly how gay marriage came about, as we see here in the state of Iowa, where 7 justices forced gay marriage on the people of Iowa. I was the only one on this panel who came to Iowa last year and made sure that those 3 justices were defeated. I campaigned and worked to make sure those justices were defeated, because we can't have 50 marriage laws. This was the approach that the left took on abortion, which is to pick a few states, pick a few courts, and then go to the Supreme Court and say equal protection. You can't have different state laws, and then you'll have 9 people up at the Supreme Court deciding what marriage is in this country. You have to fight in each state, and that's where I disagree with Rick Perry. I disagree with Michelle Bachmann. I will come to the states and fight to make sure this strategy of picking off a state here and there does not be successful in transforming marriage.
Now, listen, there are a great many social conservatives who are concerned about directions in this country, and I think they have a legitimate part of this debate.
But if a state chooses to allow people of the same sex to marry, shouldn't they be allowed to do that?
Yes. No, I agree, and perhaps you are not understanding my position. Yeah. Marriage is a question for the states.
What's your position if you were running a specific state, though?
We've got 50 states. The citizens of New York decide they want gay marriage. They have the constitutional authority to make that decision. And if the citizens of Texas or South Carolina or Florida decide they want to maintain traditional marriage between one man and one woman, they have that constitutional authority. The decision is for the elected legislature in the state of California. If the citizens of California decide they want to allow gay marriage, that's a decision for them.
There is not 50 definitions of marriage, nor should there be. There is one definition of marriage. There are those in our party who say, well, the 10th Amendment says they can do anything they want. No, they cannot. They cannot do something that is immoral and wrong and injurious to our federal system and to our country. And the building block of our country, contrary to some, is not the individual. It is the family. The individual is building a society on individual is like building a society on grains of sand. You need a bond upon which to build. And that bond is marriage. And the marriage is the glue that holds the family together, that gives us the ability to raise a structure, a great structure. We are playing into the liberals. Those who say, let the states do whatever they want, are playing into the liberals' trap. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to do what they did on abortion. Get enough state legislatures to start doing this, and then they'll go to the Supreme Court and say, we can't have people married in Iowa and not married in Nebraska when they cross the state line. We can't have people married in New York and not married in Pennsylvania. That is unequal. We can't let that stand. And we will get a decision that none of us here like. And I know this is not a popular opinion in some circles, but it is the conservative opinion. It is the opinion that says that we are a country that is a moral enterprise, that there are values that hold us together and bind us together, that if they fracture, so will this country. And nothing is more central to that than the family. Because I had the temerity to stand up in 2003, before any of this started to roll, before Lawrence versus Texas was even decided, and I fired a shot across the bow of the United States Supreme Court and said, Supreme Court, you can decide this case the right way and say, you know, the sodomy statute is violent of equal protection and everything will be fine. But if you say there's a constitutional right to consensual sexual activity, Katie, bar the door. And that's what they did. When I said that, I didn't compare anything. I said that if the Supreme Court gives the right of individuals the constitutional right to consensual sexual activity, then you have the right to incest, you have the right to all sorts, polygamy, you name it. You have the right to anything if it's consent. When I said that, the gay community went ballistic. And they came after me. The mainstream media called for me to resign because I was comparing homosexuality with incest and other things. No, I wasn't. I was saying that if the standard is consent, then how do you rationally draw the line? You can't. And they aren't. And subsequent to that, the Massachusetts decisions and others came down, and I stood for marriage. And we forced a vote on the federal marriage amendment. But ladies and gentlemen, we have this issue before us again today, and it's within our party. And we need to talk about it. There's some in our party who say, well, if New York wants to pass same-sex marriage, that's fine with me.
We've got 50 states. The citizens of New York decide they want gay marriage. They have the constitutional authority to make that decision.
Some who say, well, I'm not going to get involved in what states do. It's their business. Abraham Lincoln said it best. We do not have the right to do wrong. States do not have the right to destroy the American family. It is your business. It is not and should not. It is not fine with me that New York has destroyed marriage. It is not fine with me that New York is setting a template that will cause great division in this country. Marriage is an essential good because it provides something unique in society. It provides and reflects nature and nature's God, words from the Declaration of Independence, which is man and woman coming together to form a bond, to have children and continue society in a way that gives children their birthright, which is their mother and their father. And society holds up this institution to encourage what is best for that child and what is best for society. So it's not discrimination, not to grant privileges. It's discrimination to deny rights. I don't want to deny any rights to anyone. Everyone has a right to live their life. That doesn't mean that they're entitled to certain privileges that society gives for certain benefits that society obtains from those relationships.